Artemisia Gentileschi, an absolute superb female artist. And here she is, a self-portrait created when she was 44 years old. By then, she had become an accomplished, sought-after, and absolutely exquisite artist. And she is truly an old master, yet not known to the world. Artemisia was also a formidable fighter. A fighter for her rights and her worth as a human and as a woman. Her story is well known to people within the art world. But if you're just starting to get interested in the arts, be ready to be amazed and impressed by this amazing storyteller and her intense dramatic depictions. This is one of those depictions, and keep in mind, this is from the early 1600s. At first glance, we might see a resting man on the floor, but then our eyes are drawn to the woman, her hand gripping the hammer, and what she's about to do. It's raw, real, and very intense, even to us. This is a very unusual imagery that we're not used to see. There's definitely a backstory about Artemisia that needs to be told. In this video, we'll take a deeper look into her art and her life because Artemisia's story is one of talent, and also resilience, ambition, and fierce determination. So let's get to know Artemisia, her masterful artistic capabilities, and what we can learn from her. This is the first painting we know by Artemisia, created when she was only 17 years old and living with her father in Rome, Italy. But only a year later, Artemisia's whole life would be turned upside down. We'll get back to this in a minute. Please bear with me because we're going to spend some time examining Artemisia's first known painting, which we believe was important in so many ways to her. The painting you see here is called Susanna and the Elders. Artemisia liked to paint themes, specifically from the Bible. The biblical story of this painting is that Susanna was a beautiful married woman. One day she decided to take a bath on her own. However, these two old men couldn't leave her alone. The elderly men threatened Susanna that if she didn't have intercourse with them, they would tell the village that she had met with a young man in the garden, a crime punishable by death. Susanna was trapped in a horrible situation. If she gave in, she would sin against God and her husband. If she refused, she would be falsely accused and likely executed. Susanna screamed for help, and the elders, sticking to their plan, also called for others, pretending to catch her with a young man. The elders brought their false accusation to the community, and Susanna was put on trial. Due to their positions of authority, the elders were believed. However, Susanna was rescued by a young man who questioned the fairness of the trial and demanded a separate interrogation of the two elders. This revealed inconsistencies in the elders' stories. Each elder gave a different location for where they claimed the incident happened. This discrepancy exposed their lie, and Susanna was vindicated. Now, this was, and unfortunately is still rare that girls and women are vindicated when they've subjected to sexual assault. But let's turn our eyes to her painting and see how skillful Artemisia is with light, shadows, movements, colours and anatomy. You have so many elements: deep storytelling, emotional intensity, an empowering female perspective, and a significant challenge to the male gaze, all showcasing Artemisia's technical skill. Susanna got away, but Artemisia was not so lucky. However, Susanna's story might have given Artemisia strength in believing in herself and seeking justice. Because Artemisia herself is 18 years old when she was raped by another male artist, who was also her tutor. There's a fine balance when talking about Artemisia, because it's easy to focus too much on what happened to her and not her art. But these two are, as you'll see, intertwined. But before we get into that, let's admire this painting is called Judith Beheading Holofernes, and is Artemisia's second known painting, created when she was about 20 years old. I want you to really look at Artemisia's painting and pay attention to your emotions while you look at it. It's dramatic, as if taken from a horror movie. We're not used to seeing women like this. It's scary and confusing. What did he do? Why do these two women take his life? Remember, this painting is from around 1612. It was an astonishing painting then and still is today. You can see that Artemisia is really taking advantage of light and shadow. This technique is called chiaroscuro, meaning she's contrasting dark backgrounds with focused light on the scene, which intensifies the emotional impact and drama. Artemisia's work frequently depicts strong, suffering women, which many art historians believe reflects her personal experiences. It is highly likely that she used her art as a tool to heal and handle very difficult emotions. Do you use art as a means to heal and manage your emotions? Share with us in the comments. So what happened to Artemisia? Let me tell you while you look at her self-portrait from when she was 23 years old. 6 years earlier, she was subjected to sexual assault by her male art tutor, who had worked with Artemisia's father. Her father was also an artist and a supporter of Artemisia and her artistic career. The tutor was 33 years old at the time of the rape, and Artemisia was only 18 years old. Now what follows is extraordinary for that time, and sadly even today, because Artemisia and her father took the assaulter to trial. Artemisia endured a scandalous 7-month trial in which she was even tortured to prove she was telling the truth. Yes, you heard right, torture. However, the male assaulter was not tortured. Again and again, Artemisia repeated that her testimony about the rape was reliable. It is true, it is true, it is true, it is true. The trial transcripts are several hundred pages long, and Artemisia's fierce voice is clear when she says she fought, scratched his face, pulled his hair, and used any means possible to get away. Unfortunately, the last few pages and the verdict of the court transcripts are missing, but we can assume the assaulter was convicted, as he was held in prison for 8 more months after the trial. Artemisia's trial transcripts are conserved at the Archivio di Stato in Rome, and from these transcripts we can tell that Artemisia's voice is strong, clear, and ready to stand in her truth and seek justice. What is important is that Artemisia didn't focus on what happened to her, and neither should we. It certainly didn't stop her. After the trial, Artemisia left her hometown for Florence, where she further developed her artistic skills. She achieved a significant mark of approval when in 1616 she became the first woman ever to be admitted to the prestigious Accademia delle Arti del Disegno, the Academy of the Arts of Drawing. For example, she painted this work in Florence called Allegory of Inclination, for Michelangelo's nephew as part of a series of paintings to glorify the life of his great-uncle, Michelangelo, the famous artist. She moved to London for a while and painted ceiling paintings in the Great Hall in the Queen's House. She got married, had 5 children, had a lover, and got divorced. But most of all, we know her for her dramatic and emotionally intense paintings like this one. Artemisia's art was celebrated during her lifetime, but then sidelined for hundreds of years after her death. There's still a long road to recognition. Many of her works were, and might still be, wrongly attributed to other male artists. But Artemisia was and is a truly astonishing woman and artist. An equally fascinating female artist and an old master from approximately the same era is Sofonisba Anguissola, whom you can check out by clicking on the link at the end of the video or in the description box. Artemisia achieved something so unlikely, so close to impossible, that she deserves to be one of the most famous artists in the world. She communicated a powerful personal vision, and yet she isn't known as a famous artist in this world. So we invite you to join our mission to make mikonoart an educational platform for girls, women, and anyone interested in women in the arts, so we can all comfortably answer the simple question: can you name 5 women artists? And don't forget to share with us how Artemisia inspires you in the comments, or just leave an emoji. It'll help us a lot and encourage us to create more videos. Don't forget to support our channel by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of the artistic world.